Everybody loves the band. Good morning, everybody. 6:32 is our time. I forgot the banner at the bottom. It's been so long since we've done the last show. It's been almost a month. Let's bring in the boys here. We got the G-Man coming in from down the shore, as we call it here in the great state of New Jersey. And we got RVO coming in from the 516 out on Long Island. Guys, good morning. And good morning, New Jersey. Good morning to all of you here on Facebook as well as our YouTube channel. We actually got 3 more subscribers since our last show. So look at that. We're rolling heavy now, right?
Right.
Look out.
Look out, Joe Rogan Experience. We're coming for you.
Exactly. So it's 6:33.
Sweet.
Let's open up the comments here in about 5 minutes or so. So we'll have everybody go ahead and chime in and let us know where you're watching us from and all that fun stuff. So let's see. Weather-wise, it's been fairly January-esque like, even though we're in February, right? I mean, yesterday morning was a little bit of a surprise, not surprise, but I mean, I'm a little more icing on my windshield than I would have liked to.
Yeah.
Running late and whatever. But yeah, I mean, I feel like it's been a fairly calm since we were last on the 14th for the most part, right? I mean, it's
January
was.
January, it was
right.
cold, yeah.
Exactly.
It was bitter. I mean, January will go down in many locations as the coldest January in the last, I don't know, 10 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's only felt it, sure.
Which, historically speaking, this past January is kind of what January's used to be, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, whatever. I mean, it wasn't anything earth-shattering, but it's just the coldest one I think that we've had in like the last 10 years. So, we had a couple cold weeks in there,
Yeah, very dry too, which was kind of unusual. I know. I think New Jersey probably in the mix with some of the driest weather we've seen for a January in 30, 40 years. I know Long Island had 0.3. I ended up with 0.60 after we had that last day of rain, the very last day.
Right.
But we were on pace there before that very last day of January to be the driest January ever. And that's saying a lot. It's tough to do,
Oh, yeah. Well, Rich, I mean, January is historically the drier month of the two between January and February, and usually the colder. February usually is the snowier month, and that'll transition us into the next thought. Right, lads?
Lads. It's been a while since I've gotten the lads. Very nice. All right, Rich. So you want to jump into your show here? 6:35 time. So let's dial that in. There we go. Let me go full screen with that, Richie. There you go.
There you go.
Beautiful.
You're
rock
and
roll. All right. Let's see if I can make it look even better. Maybe I can. Maybe I can't. I don't know if that helps. But all right. So here's the deal. Again, February 4th, Tuesday. We're in a new month. Groundhog, Punxsutawney Phil did see his shadow, predicting 6 more weeks of winter. I think he's going to be on the money this year. We'll talk about that in a second and show you why. Quiet today and quiet tomorrow. Not much happening right now. Nothing much shaking. We got some wind and a little bit of chill heading our way later on today. Look at all the action in the western states, Jimmy G. I mean, they've been getting blasted out there. I mean, you want to talk a little about this atmospheric river in the western states? What's going on out there?
It's just nonstop, it's just the train, a lot of that is, good pineapple connection. Do you see what was happening in Hawaii the last, in the
winter
last
storm,
week? Winter storm. And then they also had a severe thunderstorm warning. It was either on the Big Island or in Kauai, where the severe thunderstorm warning was up. But even the North Shore of Oahu, my buddy's there, has been there for the last couple months. They've been getting drilled, heavy rain downtown Honolulu. I think at 3.5 or 4 inches of rain. So that river is just, what we like to call sometimes is the pineapple connection, really established. And the train, that rain train, is just making stops everywhere, whether you like it or not, and just hammering.
Yeah, big fire hose in the western states. And, amazingly enough, ironically, you had the major, the fires burning in Southern California from Los Angeles to L.A. Fortunately, I think, they're all contained now. The Palisades fire, the Eaton fire, they've got a hold of that because they had that rain last week. So thank goodness that whole, kind of Armageddon is kind of over for the most part. They're getting a little bit of rain down there. They have what's called the burn scars, where you get some rain there. Instead of soaking into the soil, it runs off and down into somebody's backyard, and that's not a good thing either. But fortunately, it hasn't been torrential like it is up north. Like, I can't imagine if that rain and that storminess in parts of Oregon up towards Idaho, if that was down in LA, they have some really massive problems. But at least Mother Nature is giving them a break there. But yeah, I tell you, no one really talks much about it. Northwest, western areas, I mean, it's getting blasted. But that's where the big storminess has been, what we've been missing for the most part. Another big thing, Jimmy G, and spring has sprung across parts of New Mexico, Texas, the South, and areas.
Yeah.
What, 5 to 10 inches of snow a couple of weeks ago are now in the 70s and the 80s. See that?
Yeah, in the historic New Orleans, I think New Orleans was close to a foot, I believe, in portions of Louisiana, just insane. And then, flip the switch a couple weeks and boom, that's very much like a high desert pattern. Denver will get a foot of snow and then the next day it's 65 degrees.
Yeah, it's
70 degrees.
Pretty remarkable, though, the change in the switch down there. It's like, talk about weather whiplash. So,
all
right,
yeah.
Let's talk about us and see what's happening here. Don mentioned it earlier. Yeah, we got some excitement here now. New month and new pattern and little activity. Now, remember, we need the precipitation. We've been very dry. I'm going to show you that drought monitor towards the end of the show here. But, we're going to have something here later Wednesday night going into Thursday morning. You may want to be aware of this because it looks a little dicier now. Little flurries late Wednesday night, nothing big, 10 p.m. You go to bed, you should be fine. But you're going to wake up. I mean, it's going to be a little dicey here, like Don mentioned. Overnight, when you're sleeping, Wednesday night into Thursday morning, you start to get some blue across the state. That's going to be some snow, some wet snow. But look at all the purple, Jimmy G.
Yeah,
what is that?
The problem?
What
That's the sleet and the ice. So, with warm air in place, we've got the makings of a little bit of a sleet and ice event, and that is not good.
Oh, look at that coverage there.
Yeah.
We get what's called cold air damming. What happens is the cold air at the surface is just very stubborn to get out of there. It's like your kids, they're just stubborn to clean their room. It's stubborn to get the cold air out. And, Don, you look at what's on the map. When you see crazy colors like this, it looks like a Skittles box. That's never a good thing. Jimmy G, what are we looking at here for the state on Thursday morning for that morning rush? Ugh, yikes.
Yeah. So and look where it sets up. I mean, it's Driscoll Bridge and further north. So that's 287. That's the Parkway. That's the Turnpike up north. That's 80, that's 78. I mean, you have every horrific road up there, dealing with some sleet and some ice. And Rich, my favorite cold air damming analogy, and I used this on the air at NBC 10 not long ago, was the English muffin analogy. So the cold air damming is like you putting, pat of butter on that freshly popped out of the toaster English muffin, how the butter seeps into all those nooks and crannies. And doesn't get out. And that's kind of like how the cold air gets dammed up and wedged into the lowest levels of the atmosphere, and it's tough to scour out. So that's, I use that analogy, and Matt, our traffic guy, after my hit, he looks at me, he's like, great dude, thanks. Now I'm freaking hungry.
Yummy. All right.
Yeah,
well, it looks like we're safe south of Trenton there, south of Freehold, right? Township down.
Yeah, that's a little right. So if you look right on that line, that is, that's the Turnpike. So that's, let's say, exit, 6. Down to 4. So the exit 6 is an exit for, the Pennsylvania Turnpike, and also getting into 95 in Pennsylvania. If you were to take that into Philly and points to the south, exit 4, you could also access a few of the Philadelphia bridges via Route 130. Let's say the Betsy Ross, let's say the Bend, whatever. If you're trying to, but that's a busy corridor. That's where the Turnpike, that's where 195, 295 meet, and also the juncture in towards Pennsylvania, going over the Delaware, and eventually over the Schuylkill or whatever, depending on where you're going. But that's you're getting into Bucks County, you're getting into Delaware County, you're getting into Montgomery County, all of that area, Metro Philly, into the Lehigh Valley. Looks pretty covered and smothered with
this
sleet.
kind of stuff too, guys, is also very difficult to even try to drive in. The one thing looking at your the radar stuff, Rich, is that it's not going to be starting off as rain, because the brining and everything else like that they're going to try to do tomorrow, if they go out tomorrow night or 3-4 o'clock and put that stuff down, then it starts as rain. That's the problem, because then it gets washed away and you can't really put it back down again afterwards because it doesn't really do anything. So hopefully it's dry enough to get that brine down on the Parkway, like you said, 287, 280 going up into West Orange. That could be a real real tough spot. I mean, many times following the G-Man in that traffic center where, cars are like halfway damn near sliding down the mountain coming out of, around exit 8 or so, coming all the way down in towards the parkway and stuff, because that's a real stiff shot. So sleet, freezing rain is not what you want to even attempt to drive in. If you
This looks ugly. Yeah, I think the DOT crews and the state really should get ready and get their guard up on this, because I think there's going to be some school closings, delays, and issues here through Thursday morning.
Yep.
I mean, half the state is covered up now. At least it gets better mid to late morning after that rush hour, Jimmy G, probably after 9-10 a.m. But you still got some stuff north though at Morris County up towards Passaic County.
Yeah,
right?
Morris, Sussex, into Warren, even into Bergen, the most populated county in Jersey. So, it's not good, definitely. And let's reiterate, the timing is horrendous. That's the morning commute.
Yeah,
so
that's let me go
awful.
back again on that. Yeah, let me go back if I can on this just to show you that slide again. All right, just to time it out for you again.
Right.
Overnight,
4 a.m., right.
Very early, 1 a.m., 4 a.m. I mean, you're on the road early riser, get to work, get to the city. I mean, you got problems here. This is going to be a tough morning Thursday morning. I mean, no matter what. I mean, if it's not sleet, if it's not, whatever, wet snow, it's going to be some type of ice or something, accretion on the ground here. It's going to cause a nightmare on these roads here. The Garden State Parkway, the Turnpike, 1 and 9, everybody's going to be having an issue here. I would be really on guard Thursday morning here.
Yeah, that's a horrendous commute developing.
Yeah. All right. So in terms of accumulation, it's not a lot of accumulation here. I mean, I think maybe a coating to an inch or so, right, Jimmy G? But most of this is going to be mostly sleet. I think maybe you get 3 inches up north, but it's going to be that crusty, crunchy, just nasty thing that we just hate to shovel. It's just a pain. I'd rather have like a dry, powdery snow than this nonsense, right?
Right.
Well, not only that, you get the ice and the sleet on top of what could be a little bit of snow.
Exactly.
So you get the crust on top of that, and that can make it even. You just think it's regular snow, and you're going to drive accordingly, and obviously a little more cautious, but it'll be even more slick and slippery than regular snow would be.
Yeah.
I mean,
I was
going to say these are the days that I hate to say it, I do miss doing traffic on TV and radio, but these are the days that, man, you just want to just stay inside because it gets lit up like a Christmas tree.
To put it bluntly, this is going to suck. I mean, that's basically the best way to put it, Jimmy. I mean, this is nasty. So, all right, we'll see if maybe there'll be a shift, maybe it'll be a little warmer, and maybe it'll be, maybe not as impactful. But I would say if you're checking in here from the DOT or anywhere across New Jersey, residents who got to travel, Thursday morning, the red light is on. You got to be careful.
Yeah, especially at elevation, especially the bridges and overpasses, that all those things that tend to ice first, then I think it's almost a pretty good lock that those are going to have issues. We'll see how much, some of the lower line coastal plain areas that tend to perhaps stay a little warmer. We'll see how well they do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. So let's see what happens after that. Again, we get rid of this, atrocity on Thursday morning. Fortunately, it's going to warm up a little bit. So I think we'll do some melting by Thursday afternoon, Thursday night. Friday's nice, dry, quiet day, so that's good to try to get the crust and all the garbage out of the way. It looks okay, and then we're going to have what's called the parade, the train of weather storms coming in from the south and west here. The thing is here, Jimmy G and Don, I don't think I see one big major storm, but maybe like a handful of moderates or light to moderates. So we'll take you through it, Jimmy. We'll talk about this one now, Jimmy G, for the weekend. It's Saturday night into Sunday, right? We got this guy coming in. This looks like probably a little mixed terrain into Super Bowl Sunday. I think we're going to be probably similar to what we're seeing Thursday, right?
Of course. And you know what Sunday is, Rich, right?
It's Super Bowl.
It's Sundays for the birds.
There you go. Okay, well,
wow.
Gotcha. All right.
Seeing how we don't have a decent team in the New York, New Jersey area, so we might as well.
It's true.
Did
I see an eagle just fly past you, G?
Exactly.
Max is going after the eagle.
Exactly. So
hopefully they're not boo birds. Hopefully we see a decent game here. I mean, you know what? No matter who you're rooting for, I just hope it's a competitive, fun game to watch.
Oh, it will be, dude. You know what we call Saquon in Philly? Slaquon. because he slays the competition.
Wow.
Right. Okay. Let's see if he shows up against
he'll
Mahomes
show
and
up.
the crew there. I hope he does. All right. We'll make a good game. All right. Let's go through this because I want to show you the train and parade. I got a little bit of an animation
The
here.
train and parade. I love it.
I gotta keep my finger on the button here to do this right. All right. So here's the deal. Storm number 1, after we get through Thursday, of course, is going to be Saturday night into Super Bowl Sunday. Don't worry about Super Bowl itself in the evening at night. This will be gone by then. It's mostly right there, James. See Saturday night and Sunday.
Changes over to rain.
Right. A sleet to mix going over to just some plain rain. And then we're going to be okay for, all the wings and parties and pizzas for Sunday night. So the party should be in good shape. All right. We're going to try to fast forward here with the maps. If I did this right, Tuesday. Okay. That's February 11th, week from today. There's a little wave right there. We got a little bit of maybe some snow, a little more of a southern track. Doesn't look tremendous, but you know what, Jimmy G, that could be a little bit of a snowmaker. On the heels of that, oofa, we've got number 2. This is Wednesday on the 12th. Now, these could merge together, maybe Tuesday, Wednesday. They tend to do that down the long range, so we'll see if that happens. But either way, next Tuesday, Wednesday, you want to be on guard. And then there's a little wave. I think it's going to miss us, sometime late that week. But then it's the 16th, mid to late month here. If you watch the animation, this one looks a little interesting too, a little blue on there. I mean, it looked bigger yesterday, but certainly opportunities here to see, what would be a stormier pattern coming up. And, the Climate Center is also considering, a better than average chance of colder weather now with the thing flattening out there. See some of the blue. And if that's the case, we might be just marginally cold enough to get, some snow in there, which would be interesting. And, even though we need the precipitation, look at that. You haven't seen that in a while.
No.
Above normal, a better chance probability of having above normal precipitation for us going through the middle of the month. So, what do you think, Jimmy? We have, you get these parades of storms. What typically happens?
Yeah, usually they're quick hitters, and they're, like you said, they're not big events. Maybe the one, the Tuesday, Wednesday event looks a little more interesting.
Yes, I agree.
The low looks a little stronger, a little deeper. So that may be a light to perhaps moderate event, depending on how quickly it moves. But they're all basically glorified clippers that are moving through and, kind of change over to rain, or quick moving, they're disruptors, but they're not kind of ass kicking snowstorms,
Yeah.
So interesting on the temp outlook, I think, yes, it could be colder than normal, but this is not an Arctic air explosion that we saw in January.
That's correct.
It might just be cold enough to snow. I think that's really kind of the takeaway. Yes, colder than normal. And keep in mind now in February, especially mid-February, our normal high temperature should be pushing the mid-40s. Mm-hmm. So not the upper 30s as it would be in January. So colder.
I'm sorry, G, go ahead.
Yeah. So colder than that, is, you're still, it's got to be fairly significantly colder. Right.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But as you said, it looks like it's cold enough to snow, but it's also cold enough to keep the snow around from storm 1, potentially storm 2 and 3. So then that stuff starts to pile up, you get 2 or 3 in one storm and maybe an inch or 2 in the next. And the next thing you know, by the end of the week, you're up to 5-6 inches or something, or whatever it decides to drop. So, if it remains on that, colder side.
Yeah, you can kind of see it's what's called a cutter pattern. You've got the southwest and northeast cut, where it's not like driving to the coast and giving us those major blizzards. We've seen these patterns in the past, and typically they tend to produce more of the annoyance, like Jimmy said, when you've got little sleet, little stuff on the front end, and then on the back end, you get like the mixing and stuff like that into the rain, the wash away kind of deal. But it's still, this can be impactful. We've seen many times, like we're going to see it Thursday morning, and now an inch and a half, 2 inches sleet and slush and, garbage on the ground can really cause a lot of headaches. And I think we have this going on for 2 weeks. Yeah.
Sometimes with storms like Thursday, the issue is that some people feel like, it's not really snow or whatever, and they decide to go ahead and drive and get out. When you start forecasting, 3 to 6 or 4 to 8 or whatever, it changes the mindset of a lot of people that they change plans or whatnot, and they don't head out towards the roads, because it is all snow. Because honestly, it's easier to drive in snow than that kind of stuff. for
Yeah.
potentially for Thursday. You know,
Yeah, these are annoying. Yeah, these are very annoying.
Uh-huh.
This is going to be a tough pattern for 2
Right.
weeks coming up. But like Jimmy said, February is typically the month when we
It's
tend
true.
to get a little more
Yeah.
storminess, precipitation, and snow. And sure enough, living up to the hype, that's what we're going to see for a couple weeks here.
Exactly.
So
You start getting into the change. We'll call it late winter, early spring, when the upper air pattern releases a little bit. And that was another reason why January was so freaking cold. It was so northern jet. The southern jet was non-existent. That Arctic air just had a straight path all the way through the United States, and there was no southern jet interaction. When you start moving in towards late winter, early spring, I like to call it the shoulder season. And just in my experience, once the jet streams, particularly the southern branch, the southern jet, starts moving around a little bit, starts dancing like a Shakira video. All right. So when you start getting that thing, jiggling and gyrating, and it starts interacting with the northern jet.
It's been 30 shows since they get the Shakira reference.
You love it, right?
Finally.
That's one of my other favorite references, right? So once that thing starts bumping and grinding, it kind of hooks up with the northern jet, and boom, we have what we call some phasing going on, and then that's when we spin up some bombs,
Yeah, it's called Battle of the Seasons, and
Yes.
the hips don't lie on the Southern Jet. When you start to get the battle, between winter trying to hold on
Right.
and spring trying to come in. Yeah, look, we got 70s and 80s, and we talked about it in Texas. When they start to go at it, like two sumo wrestlers, you get stuck in the middle. That's a bad place to be, and that's where we're going to be for a while. So,
Exactly. So
that's the deal.
I don't know was it the 96 storm? I forget if they called that the one, the storm of the century, or the 93 storm. But anyway, the 96 storm, that was a March storm that we were listening to March Madness on the radio, coming back from Florida, stuck on the highway on Route 81 in Fancy Gap, Virginia. It was snowing to beat the band. They closed the road. And literally, we had to kind of spend it overnight at an Exxon Mini Mart in Fancy Gap, Virginia. They opened up 81 the next morning, and it was like roads open. It was like Cannonball Run. And there were feet of snow on the side of the road, and a gajillion jackknife JB Hunt. Max, calm it down. All right, let me go feed.
You like your story. All right. I'll talk a little bit about the rest of the climate stuff here now in the seasonal outlook.
All right, I'll be right back.
NOAA's still going for throughout spring, still above normal temperatures across the east. Which, if you hate the cold and the snow, maybe that's good news for you. The west is going to be a little colder, and kind of like in the middle in terms of precipitation. So we don't really see much down the road after we get through these next 2 weeks of February that kind of bodes terribly for us, but we'll see what this pattern does. I did want to get into the drought situation again because this has been interesting and not being really talked too much about. It's rare, I guess, in the middle of winter to be talking about a drought situation, something where you talk about in the summer or spring, right? But I tell you what, we've been very dry, and in southeastern parts of the state, Ocean County, down to Toms River. From Lakewood Point south, Atlantic County towards Ocean City, Atlantic City, Cape May. You're still in a extreme drought. We're dry. And the other pine. Jimmy G. You talk about the pine barrens down there. We just had a dry month. I think we'll catch up a bit in February. But what happens if we go back with this La Nina pattern and we get very dry? Let's say the end of February, March into April. And we head into like the warm season with with the dry grass. What's gonna? Have we seen major fires before in the spring here?
We have. I don't remember when that Double Trouble State Park fire was, but that's down there. You have the Wharton State Forest, which is in that red shaded area where Jimmy Sniper and I went mountain biking down there one Memorial Day weekend. Came home, picked 10 ticks off. That's how overgrown it was then.
Wow.
So obviously, the moral of that story is it's not something that's super well maintained. And if it is overgrown, should a fire start, I think they're in trouble.
Right.
Yeah, you got severe drought. Yeah, severe drought, extreme drought for looks like 2/3 of the state still in February now. And traditionally our fire season is like April into May. That's when things get really. We've had this before, Jim. You remember all this stuff we did there,
right? But what's different about this is this thing didn't start. This was an outgrowth of the absolutely bone dry October.
Correct.
And very, very dry September as well. So at least the second half of September. So this didn't start until you know, it was cooking from September to October, but it really didn't exacerbate and get terrible until obviously October, and then we've kind of held on to this. So yeah, we need some precip events, whether it be snow or, I mean, ice won't do anything, but whether it be snow or rain,
it's soaking rain. Yeah. I mean, because this is interesting. I never ever recall seeing going into with a launching pad like this for dry weather into your traditional, hot time, for fires,
drier months, right?
I really hope we catch up, because for the sake of the state, the sake of the, the Rangers and all the, the authorities that have to just manage. I mean, I don't want to scare everybody and say, look what happened in Los Angeles. I don't want that to happen here. But I'm telling you, we're in a situation here in central southern New Jersey where, if we don't catch up, I mean, we're going to be looking at some serious stuff here.
No doubt. But I mean, the silver lining to this is most of our reservoirs and our population centers are all in North Jersey. Bergen County is the most populated county in the state. They're, moderate drought as compared to, the extreme drought down south. And then you have many of our, bigger reservoirs, Oradell Reservoir, things like that, all up in North Jersey. So that's the part of the state that is in a little bit better shape. And so, if there is a silver lining there, that is, and the further south you go, you get down into some of that red shaded area, Gloucester County, and towards Salem County, Western Atlantic, I mean, it's, you do have state forests, you do have lots more open space, but it's not as populated, which is good. So the draw on the water resources isn't as significant as it would be up in Bergen County, in Morris County.
But fires are fires too. You want to be careful. You don't want to have injuries. You don't want to have stuff like that. You do want to avoid that, and hopefully that's not the case.
So I guess the takeaway is, if there's going to be an area of the state that's in extreme drought, that's pretty much, kind of the layout where you'd want to see it, just because there's less draw on resources, less people, less population, things of that nature.
Yeah. All right, Don, come back to us. Okay.
All right, Richie. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little traffic here. We'll come back and we will do the comments here. Got a bunch of people on the board here. So let me bring my stuff in here. There we go.
Poor Dizzle. I think we put him to sleep. He's like, he's like, oh, I need my pineapple juice.
He's already had that. So look out. Bromelain. Watch out. It's inbound. All right, so we got some delays here along 15 getting into Berkshire Valley Road. 80 starting to get a little bit busy out towards about exit 34, then the push into Parsippany. But for the most part, most of Western Jersey is in good shape here this morning, again, as to be expected. North of the Parkway, a little crowded here, normal spots, 145 on up to 148 or so. We've got a little traffic here north on 21 getting into the 46 merge, but 80 is moving well. So is 208. And again, this could be a little dicey as you come into Thursday morning. This is a tough shot right up here between Fair Lawn and Wyckoff, getting into Franklin Lakes and Oakland. So, could be some delayed openings, as you said, Rich. Ridgewood 17 Parkway, all is clear this morning. Route 4, not a bad ride. Turnpike, we're good. Just a little congestion getting up and onto the eastern spur of the Skyway, inbound to the Holland Tunnel. We'll check the numbers there in a moment. That's probably closer towards about 25. I'm sorry, that is, that's the Holland Tunnel. Lincoln Tunnel, a little bit busy getting on to 495 because we had an earlier issue just moments ago. Let me see if that's still there. Yes, 495 here at Kennedy Boulevard. So it's just as right where everything kind of merges in together. Parkway here south is an accident in Cranford on the shoulder. And then we've got the the outbound upper level to the George Washington Bridge, a little banged up. 2 lanes are out. So we'll give you the freshest numbers here at the Hudsons. We're going to go about 20 at the Lincoln, 25 to 30 at the George upper and lower. A lot of that is rubbernecking, looking at that upper level accident. And I will say, looking at these numbers over from our last show, they're definitely down. Not going to sugarcoat it or lie or whatever you want to call it about the congestion pricing. It is helping in some capacity. Whether it's doing all of everything they wanted, don't know yet. Still, the metrics are still, we need a little more time for that, but it's definitely helping. There's no way to push past that. So I guess that's some good news, other than having to pay the $9, which is not. Central Jersey is just fine along 287 and the Turnpike, and we're still a little early here at 7. Monmouth County, Ocean County, all clear. Getting into the G-Man's new adopted home at Philly, so we're fine there. Cape May County, all of this is in fantastic shape. I want to just take a look, see if I can find that accident here at Kennedy on 495. Let's see if the cameras are working. A lot of these cameras just don't work, as evidence of that. Yep, they're all down. Of course, why not?
Of course, why not?
Of course.
Of course.
Let's see here. The ticket vending machines across the system looks like it's not working because of technical issues here. So they're going to waive the surcharge to buy the tickets on
the train.
Yep. So yeah.
Well, isn't that nice of them?
Isn't it nice? Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Sorry, our machines aren't working, but here's what we're going to do for you.
Exactly.
You take it on the train, and we're not going to charge you anymore.
I really wonder how many people actually buy them at the actual station. I'm sure there's still a fair amount of folks that still do it. I mean, you just buy it mostly, I always just buy it on the app.
Me too. Yeah.
The phone with
same
you.
here.
Especially when I take the train to the wrong place and then I have to go.
Oh, gosh. Coastline. Now that's the corridor now. Wrong one. Backtrack. Oh boy. Alexander says, good morning from East Rutherford. On my way to the office in Teaneck. You're in good shape there, Alexander. I'm a good friend there in East Rutherford. Jimmy says, good morning from Oak Ridge, New Jersey. And my good friend Anna here from Homedale. Buenos dias to you. Jimmy says, buenos dias to Auntie Anna. We got Eddie here coming in from Freehold. Good morning to you. Here's Joan from Howell. Good morning. We've got Sally from Garrett Mountain. Pittsdown coming in here from Eddie. Good morning there.
Nice.
Jim, good morning from Point Pleasant. Very nice. Let's see
Good
here.
mix.
We've got Linda from Metuchen Edison.
All right.
Metuchen's it's like the donut between Edison. It's
It kind of wraps around it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tony.
Great little town. Jabrone. I just saw Jabrone not long ago.
Did you really?
Yeah.
PD. Oh boy. Deborah says, good morning from Woodbridge. We've got Diane here coming in from New Providence. Brian, good morning to Sarah from Chester. We've got Edison again here, Diane. So that's great news. Forked River, Tina. Very nice. And Jimmy says, you guys rock, miss you on the TV. Yeah, I think probably all three of us miss being on TV, but these are the cards we're dealt, as they say, right? So Chris says, good morning, guys, from Cedar Grove. So nice little mix of things happening. So
yeah,
you mentioned Super Bowl. G, are you working this weekend? Are you on duty Sunday night?
No, actually, I just was getting a text. I'm actually on duty tonight. So
look out.
A little 5, 7, and 11 on NBC 10. So, yep. So if you want to hit me up and stream it or tune it in, if you can, if you get it, we'll be there. We'll be talking about the snow heading our way, and we'll see if we go first alert. I'm sure we'll probably go first alert by tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Make it, and that's just a higher level of alertness for our viewers. Whatever, we turn everything red, and it kind of stands out really nicely, and that sort of thing. So. I am not working this
Super Bowl Sunday.
Yep. Yeah, ironically, last Super Bowl Sunday was my first day in Buffalo.
Wow.
So I had actually trained, and then I flew up there for last Super Bowl Sunday, which was, and again, it was, I think it was just one show. I don't know. It was so easy,
Right.
So, but yeah, maybe it was two.
Love those one show shows. That's
exactly. Great. Sports runs late, a big event or whatever. I mean, that's the beauty of being part of a network, right?
Mm-hmm.
So anyway,
what's the weather look like down in New Orleans? Because that's where the Super Bowl is. I mean, obviously, since the last time we were on, we were mentioned before we started that New Orleans had up to a foot. I mean, never happened before.
Much
as
more
far as a foot is concerned. They've had snow, but not that much.
Right, but they play in a dome anyway, so
no, I know, but I wasn't sure whether it was going to be another, if there's any snow or
no.
Crazy.
No, they're good now. Like I said, they're in the 70s, 80s right now. They had to flip the switch, so it's a totally different world down there now. So I think they're happy about that.
Back to the big easy has once again become the big easy and left behind the big snowy. So They're back to
Yeah, that was amazing. Yeah, that was something. I've never seen that in my life.
No,
I mean, I'm doing weather for 30 plus years. I've never seen the Gulf Coast like that. I mean, Florida, I mean, 8, 9, 10 inches in the panhandle of Florida.
Exactly.
Yeah, never see that.
So 8, 9 inches of snow in the panhandle or a foot in New Orleans is like us getting 6 feet up here. That's about how adept they might be at handling that or trying to get rid of it, just because they don't have the equipment and certainly can't drive in it. And it's such an anomaly for them, you know?
Yeah. And that's what makes it dangerous too, because like you said, they just don't have the equipment or the resources to take care of it. You know, what are you going to do? Ship in something that probably is never going to be used. I mean, once in a generation kind of a situation. I mean, you know, we were seeing snow down towards Houston and further down closer to, did I say maybe Brownsville? I mean, maybe they didn't get snow, but
it wasn't quite
cold.
That far
Not
south.
that far south, but
it was
Gulf
certainly
Coast,
cold though. It was certainly cold in Brownsville in the 30s
Lake
or whatever.
Charles, I mean, Lake Charles, you know, Baton Rouge. I mean, these are areas, you know, you know, January, February, you're walking around in shorts and a t-shirt, you know.
Yeah. They need a new drink. They stopped serving hurricanes in New Orleans and called them snow events. Blizzards. Sorry, this bar and every bar in Bourbon Street started importing blizzards from DQ.
That's it, exactly. Right. Look at a place like, you know, Myrtle Beach or whatever had like 5, 6 inches of snow. And I don't know when the last time they had that much snow either.
Right. So ironically, Rich knows this. I mean, there's so many Yankee transplants in southern North Carolina into northern South Carolina that they might actually be able to deal with it a little better in that part of the
New Orleans
country than certainly the deep South. So
Yeah, they've seen it before. My parents are down there, and they walked out the door. They couldn't. They're like, "Oh, I'm back in New York. Here we go, driving in the snow." Right. And the funny thing that I think that was really remarkable about this, James, was that, you know, when they get snow down there, you know, maybe it's like a sugar coating to an inch. It melts like in 5-10 minutes. You're done. That snow stuck around for a couple of days. It was that cold. I mean, that is incredible to have snow cover, not just snow, but snow on the ground for, you know, 48, in some cases 72 hours in areas that hardly ever even see an inch. I mean, that's crazy. You know, that's the duration, the length of how much time it stuck around was just amazing. I mean, obviously it's gone. You know, it melted in a couple of days, but still, though, it's hard to do down there.
Exactly. Because it didn't really warm up, you know.
Right.
That cold had some teeth, especially not only here, but and there wasn't a big variant in temperature. So, like, if we were 27 or 28 for the high one of those days, it was kind of a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday sort of event, if you will, on the cold. You know, if we were in the low to mid 20s for highs, I feel like Columbia, South Carolina was 3 degrees warmer than we were, maybe. Right. So it was very consistent on the cold, and that cold had some teeth, man. It just dug and dug and dug all the way down to the Gulf Coast.
Yeah, the stats are remarkable too. I mean, if you look at some of the numbers for New Orleans, Pensacola, some of these areas, their seasonal snow, I mean, it's mind-boggling. Their seasonal snowfall is more than like Long Island. It's more than us. I mean,
same thing with Philly. New Orleans has more snow this season than Philadelphia. Think about that.
That's crazy.
That's crazy. That is crazy.
I mean, hey, you know, whatever it's attributing to or whatever, you know, it's not for us to decide. It's kind of just to report on at this point. But it's just the generational thing, you know. Yeah. So kids or whatever, at least that, you know, you can say, hey, I was there for the, you know, I survived the storm of 2025, that kind of thing. You know, but
when they stopped serving hurricanes and made them blizzards.
Yeah, you know, it's kind of like seeing snow in Hawaii, even though snow is fairly I mean, obviously mountains and things like
mountains
that. You know, but seeing snow on the beach in Pensacola, you know, with the sand is white.
Right.
That was some interesting pictures coming out of that neck of the woods there. It's a crazy situation, you know. I guess that would be like us getting 75 degrees in the middle of January.
Which has happened too. January, but February. Yeah.
Yeah, it's extremes. You get in a lot of these. And one of my theories, I mean, again, this may be a study, Jimmy G, maybe from the AMS. I mean, I just always have these little theories, not conspiracy theories, but more natural theories. You had extreme heat in the western states. You know, what goes up must come down. This is just my theory, my feeling about how weather works. You know, you had fires burning, really not little ones, tremendous fires, thousands and thousands and thousands of acres in Southern California for a good, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks out there. The heat going into the atmosphere every day, constantly. Does that cause maybe an imbalance in the atmosphere, or maybe like when it's so hot out there, Does it, does the slide go down the eastern side where it gets unusually cold and that punch comes down? Just a theory. I mean, that's nothing. It's nothing that I think is ever going to be proven at this point, but they may study that to see if that's the case. The extremes, so to say. What do you think about that?
Definitely. I think, the best analogy I heard early in my career is, when you're looking at, let's say, the United States, as a country, weather-wise, when one area of the country gets hot, the other part of the country is cold. Correct. It's like a checkbook, so it's always trying to find equilibrium. It's always trying to find that balance. So correct. I would totally buy into that theory where sure that certainly upset the order of things and the balance, and the atmosphere was trying to correct, and it set obviously several meteorological factors into motion, which led to that, I'm sure the folks in the Gulf Coast would call it the misplacing of that snow. Yeah. And, as the atmosphere was trying to kind of equal out, level out, and balance out.
Yeah, because you think about it, it's unprecedented on one end to the other. I mean, that's what we saw. We saw unprecedented heat and fires in the west, unprecedented cold and snow in the south and east. Right. And that's how that's how patterns work. It's a slide. It's up and down, up and down. What goes up must come down. The higher on this end, the lower on this end. And it seems to be that's what we're getting in recent years too, Don. It seems like, we can talk about climate change, everything you want to talk about there. But I think, the extremes up and down, I think are occurring, on a more
rapidly,
regular basis. And you'll get that. You'll get like quiet. All of a sudden, bang, you get like crazy. From quiet to crazy. And I think we're seeing a lot of that in the last few years here. I mean, like Jimmy said, in the end of the day, it balances out to zero. You're right. You're balanced.
Right. It's kind of like water trying to find its own plane, its own level, and the atmosphere is trying to correct itself and come back into line in equilibrium. So, So sometimes, back in the day when we were actually allowed to show jet stream maps on TV and things like that, right? Showing the upper air pattern, right? And you're like, oh, it's zonal, and, the cold air is locked up and the warm air is locked up down to the south. And you have this beautiful west to east, non-event zonal kind of flow. It was anything but zonal when you had all that heat going into the atmosphere on the West Coast. And then on the East Coast, you had that, so you had that big ridge of high pressure, and the monster kind of trough, if you will. So it's like a roller coaster, right? So we were at the bottom of that trough where that cold air was digging and diving south. And, you had that building bubble of warm air and hot air as a result of those fires in the West. So instead of something that's sort of like a straight line, you were like, woo! Right. It was like King Ka, man. King
Ka. That's a perfect. Yeah, King Ka is a perfect analogy. Yeah. The more you go up, the faster you come down. It's
King Ka is coming down. So literally,
that's what I heard. Yeah.
I don't know if they're going to implode that or whatever. But what also has gone away now is back in the day before. We've all been in the media for quite some time that, newspapers were the place that a lot of folks got weather and whatnot. I remember, on the inside of the front page of the Star Ledger, they had the weather section there. Yeah. Star Ledger finished its final print edition on Sunday.
Saw that.
Yeah. Interesting. And, post in the comments there, what you think about that. Now, New Jersey does not have a newspaper. Now, again, over the last, let's say, 10, 15 years, newspapers have been politicized just like just about everything else in America. That's you're either on one side or the other. But for, growing up as a kid here in a long time, you just read the paper. That was it. It just showed up. You read the paper, you read the sports section and whatever. But New Jersey just there's not a working paper for the whole state. Gone. Just like that. So hopefully they'll be able to survive online, but I don't know, and our good friend Brian Donahue worked there for a long time, and he posted a nice little thing on Instagram, actually with his daughter. I guess she works at a convenience store or something like that, buying the paper from her, which I thought was kind of a cool little gesture, know, but
hopefully he left her a tip.
Exactly. Right. Here's $1. But hey, as a kid, we delivered newspapers. Right. That's just the way you made some money. Yeah, and quite honestly, I knew quite a number of people that delivered the papers early in the morning. Got up at 3:30 or whatever, and they were doing it 7 days a week. And a lot of these people made a fairly decent little second income. Really did well with tips and Christmas bonuses and whatnot. And, Ledger paid fairly well. But, unfortunately, just kind of a sign of the times that, that is now gone too. So,
yeah, I do. Honestly, I like flipping through a paper.
Exactly. I agree.
I like doing that. I mean, I like reading the paper as a paper. I mean, look, I don't mind reading it online, but I prefer to actually have a.
I agree. I think with breakfast, and you open the paper, you have a little bit of, you have your coffee, you have your breakfast, and the papers to the left. When you're online, when you're doing stuff, it's like you navigate. You're doing. I mean, I know it's convenient in certain aspects, but I think like as a breakfast kind of thing. I love the morning.
Yeah, there's just something about it. Same thing like reading an actual book as compared to reading a book on a tablet or an ebook or something like that.
And it's just not good for your eyes either, continually looking at the phone or the computer screens or any of that stuff. So, and again, it's just easier. You just open up the paper, you read, you find the section you want to go to, and boom. Or if you do the crossword puzzles that I know a lot of folks do as well, it's
it's different.
Does Newsday still print? Where you
they
are?
Still print. I do get Newsday every day. I've had getting Newsday for a long, long time. Again, it's just it's just I still enjoy it. I mean, for some, I just find that you're eating, you're having your breakfast. You spill your coffee on your phone or your tablet, you got a problem. You spill it on the newspaper, you don't care. I think there's something different about that. But I don't know. But like you said, Don, just flipping through the pages. Besides getting the ink on your hands, I mean, everything is, it's just something about it, like an ambiance, like James said. And I just, I just still find it to be useful even to this day. I mean, even with all the digital stuff, I think it's just, I don't know why, but it just seems to work for me.
Agreed.
Call me old, but
No, completely agreed. So Sally says her daughter had 7 inches of snow in Gulf Breeze, Florida.
Yeah.
Good morning, James Gregorio. There's Marky.
All right.
The president of the James Gregorio fan club.
All right.
Fly bird. Look out.
Go birds. Go birds.
Go birds. Geez, that's it. That's it. I won't be filling and doing traffic on 10. I'm done already. I haven't even started. You got your green tie?
I got my green tie. I got to, so Rich would get a kick out of this, as, coming up through the ranks for years and years, we always had pretty much green chroma key screens for the most
Couldn't
part.
wear green.
So none of us ever had any green, not that we're going to go out and buy a green suit, but like, we were severely lacking on any green ties. I start working in Philly, man, now I have like 3 or 4 green ties because there's no way I'm going to work on a weekend without some sort of green tie on, especially when the Birds are playing, I'll be run out of town,
So green jacket.
Oh boy. Ready for St. Patty's Day.
Exactly.
Coming up.
Well,
so now I have like 3 or 4 different green ties.
Well, at the old place there, where you were, Rich, for a long time, in Woodbury, they bucked the trend, and it was a blue screen. It was a blue wall.
Right. They changed it up to blue
wall. Yeah. So I don't know if they ever changed it to green or not. I don't think they did. Did they? I don't know. But that was.
It was weird. Yeah, they had the big blue wall, and then they had this like pull down green screen. It was kind of funny. We had meteorologists that would come in, and it was almost like the Wizard of Oz. The guy behind the curtain. You see like the wizard. You see like the screen come down and change, and go back up, and then.
My thing is when they had the. They were kind of getting into that whole virtual set routine back in the mid 2000s, and so the floor was curved up. So it wouldn't, you wouldn't see the seam when you put the virtual set out with the studio chairs and so on. And one day I think I was doing the afternoon or whatever, and I forgot that thing was there, and I kind of like walked up onto the wall. I damn near did a header right into the, I fell straight forward because I forgot that the thing curved up and my right foot got stuck.
That'll hurt your ankles there. Yeah, I've seen those too.
Workers' comp.
Always exciting. Studio follies, yeah. I mean, sometimes you'd like be walking to the chroma key and like the camera would be right there, and your like suit would get like stuck on one of the wires and then get yelled at.
I had plenty of times I was there in the afternoon, and I followed Bill Corbell, and the camera was not brought back up, and it was just like from here up, it was just headless traffic guy.
Yeah, no, it was scary. Like back in the day, James, when we really first started doing TV, you actually had floor directors, people actually on the floor, giving you cues, moving the cameras, moving stuff around. And then when we went to the robotic cameras, all of a sudden things would move and you'd realize you get whacked in the head. It's like,
so it's funny you say that. So those little mishaps still happen today. So literally, I don't know, it was like a week or so ago. We're coming into the shot for weather on my camera, and the thing just starts trucking and moving all over the place. And both myself and my co-anchor we're like, come back, where's my cameras? So, I mean, the only thing you could do at that point is just have fun with it, and make a joke out of it. And sometimes these like little robotic hiccups happen, or whatever. But it was so funny. We're both like, where's it going? I'm like, I'm going to keep going, So
you just keep talking, right?
Exactly.
You just keep talking. It doesn't matter what people at home see,
Yeah, I'm at the weather wall and it is what it is.
Right. Yeah.
The camera will eventually get back to where it needs to be.
Because a lot of the newer stuff is fairly wireless to a degree. There's still connections, but it reads some signals that are being broadcast in the studio from the ceiling, and it tells it's almost like GPS for the camera. So it you punch the coordinates, and it goes to the spot on the floor, kind of a thing.
Yeah. It's kind of like how we make our AR graphics, augmented reality. It kind of works off a grid. So you have to have those points set correctly in the studio, which is challenging.
Does Justin have like a full set of clubs in the back?
Yeah, I haven't seen any clubs.
He's always pulling out like a 6 iron or something. He's got a full set of butter. Yeah, this is great. The graphics are fantastic. Well, Marky watches you on NBC 10.
All right, thank you.
G-Man, there it is. Nice.
Tune in tonight. 5, 7, and 11.
Each of you, please tell me who your childhood hero was.
Whoa, that's a tough one.
Boy, that's a tough one. I don't know.
Well, I can tell you that I was a high school shortstop, so I used to carry a Bucky Dent baseball card, in my back pocket of my game pants, So Bucky Dent was obviously a shortstop for the New York Yankees.
Sure.
So, I don't know if he was my hero, but I was under some illusion that he was my, he was gonna
we're gonna replace him.
Exactly. So I guess that was probably one.
Batting Gregorio.
Exactly.
James Gregorio.
Exactly.
But funny you mentioned that because mine would be probably Thurman Munson. I think back in the day, I love watching the old school Yankees back in the day. That was some team back in the 70s. Fun to watch.
Yeah. Reggie Jackson.
Baseball players. Mine was Donnie Mattingly, man. Donnie Mattingly. Had the whatever they call those Yankees fan fest or something at the American Dream Mall over the weekend, and Mattingly was there. Still looks great. He was posing for pictures with I think Rod Guidry, and they had all the announcers like Michael Kay and Sterling and Susan Waldman, and it was a whole I mean, there must have been 50 people or whatever, and you just pay. I guess you sign up online, that kind of stuff. Because a good friend of mine, he goes to these things, signs, different memorabilia and stuff like that. But it's every year, and this year was at American Dream right in the mall. So
cool.
But it's good to see a lot of these guys. Tommy John was there.
Wow,
God, Tommy John.
Wow,
he's got to be like.
How old is he now?
He's got to be all 80, if not more. I don't know. He was in a wheelchair, it looked like, unfortunately. But that could have just been because maybe he's got trouble walking or something like that. I don't know. But it's
crazy.
Yeah, Tommy John.
Crazy.
They named surgery after him. He was so good.
Exactly. Yeah.
He'll be famous for that. Great career as a pitcher, ground ball pitcher.
Honestly,
so many years.
But
he'll be known for the surgery.
I bet you so many younger people than us probably don't even realize he pitched. They probably think he's the doctor or something. Tommy John surgery. I mean,
it's
anonymous now with it. It's not even called anything else.
Isn't he an influencer? Oh, that's Tommy John. He does the
right.
He does the spots for those Tommy John jeans.
There we go. Marky says they delivered the Bergen record in Franklin Lakes, and about 7 New York Yankees were on my paper route. Oh, cool.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
that's really
cool. Lakes, high real estate. Real estate. Yeah, and speaking of high real estate, G.
Yeah.
That just is a good transition here to get us into your high real estate boys down in Monmouth County.
Yep.
Building up them homes for the upcoming summer season. Let me see if I can find it. Let me bring this up here, pal. Hold on.
Get it
Hold
up
the
there. Come on
Hold the
now.
phone now. Hold on. There we go.
Oh,
I gotta
there we
find
go.
it where it
Come
is. There we
on.
go.
There we go. Eastern Architectural Millwork, making, creating, and installing all the exterior pieces of your dreams, from columns and pergolas to trellises and outdoor showers and brackets, you name it. Eastern Architectural Millwork can make it.
Wonderful. And Travels with Darley, wonderful travel program on PBS Create, New Jersey PBS, Amazon Prime, Wonder Innovation TV's Journey. She's in the new season now, which has been starting to broadcast, I think, on NYC TV. I believe it's coming to New Jersey PBS shortly. A whole bunch of great episodes, and there's a few here in New Jersey. Passaic County is the place that she visited for this season. We've got Detroit on the lineup. I think North Dakota, I think, is some of the episodes coming up next. So especially Santa Fe, New Mexico. That was a good one. I saw that one. So wonderful travel program. Check her out, darley-newman.com. I think she was actually at the travel show at the Javits Center last weekend, checking in with fans and whatnot. So had a pretty big lineup there. Again, Travels with Darley, wonderful travel program. She's been with me since the beginning of this little venture online onto YouTube since subscriber one. And I don't know who that was, whether it was me or it was someone else.
It was probably you.
It was probably me. Again, Travels with Darley, great travel program. Check her out on Instagram, puts up a lot of reels, and certainly make some comments because she always replies to just about everybody she can. So it's darley-newman.com for more information. All right, so I think we're coming down towards the wire here, boys.
Mhm.
So, whoa,
Would you want to
what
do?
the hell is that?
Oh, that's nice. Hey, Don, would you want to, since we've got an exciting Thursday morning, you want to do a quick last weather recap so we
Absolutely,
give everybody,
Rich.
if you're just checking in with us, like I said, Thursday morning is going to suck here. Maybe go back to my weather graphics for a second here.
You put it bluntly.
I think it's
yeah,
the title, Rich. I think it's going to be the title. Good morning, New Jersey.
Probably should put the big word suck. It's going to suck. All right. So Wednesday night, you're okay, but you're going to wake up to a shock to the system here. If you're a very early riser into early Thursday morning, we're talking crusty. We're talking icy. We're talking messy. We're talking just, I don't know, Jimmy, you're going to put a word on this.
Yeah, there's definitely some adjectives in there that's even unfriendly for a podcast. So I think we'll leave it at suck.
I think suck is the best for this. You got school, you got work, you got a doctor's appointment, anything you got to do Thursday morning. You may just want to curl up or just try to stay off the roads, let the crews do what they can do, or give yourself some extra time, or just put your safety cap on, because it's going to be a little rough here Thursday morning with the sleet, the mix, the garbage, and just the friendly heads up here, everybody. Just watch out Thursday morning.
Good advice. Great advice,
right, Rich. As far as like ice, Rich, any kind of accumulation of ice, or is it just we
Probably,
looking eighth of an inch, or
well, you don't need
more?
really much. You just need enough glazing to make the roads.
Right, you don't need much at all. Absolutely.
And also the sidewalks and things like that. So I'm sure the ERs will be a little bit busy with slip and falls and different,
Sure.
So don't be one of those knuckleheads wearing your high heels out on Thursday or whatever. Wear a good sturdy shoe to start, and something with some traction and some, if you want to wear your heels, or you want to wear your, fancier shoes, bring them with you. Get in the car first, get to wherever you're going safely, and
get that scraper out. If you have the ice scraper, the brush, anything you can do, you're just going to be on all cylinders Thursday morning, high alert, just making sure you're safe, because you don't want to, there's fender benders. Jersey's always tough, whether it's sunny or snowing out. But this is going to be a tough day. I think the DOTs, the crews, if you're hearing me right now, get on alert, get on ready here for a tough Thursday morning.
Right. But it's always sunny in Philadelphia.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Exactly. Sundays are for the birds.
That's it. Marky says Tommy John was on her route.
Oh, wow.
Great with a little league in town.
Nice.
How ironic is that? Yeah. And GJ says, thanks for doing this. I love getting weather from a trusted source. Awesome.
That's us. Because quite frankly, we have no sponsors, so we're not very few. So
without anybody.
Exactly. So we are certainly not biased and not paid off by anyone.
I think somebody's got an in with them.
I know, right? Exactly.
We're just here for fun. This is just for funsies.
Right. Yeah. Well, maybe someday we'll see. Funsies,
All right.
onesies.
The tip can.
That the tip jar. Exactly. All right, there it is. Just you said the tip jar. All right, friends, remember to like and subscribe to the big broadcast here on YouTube. Let's get those numbers up if we can. 7:30 is our time. We're going to head off here. And again, just be careful on Wednesday night into Thursday. And we'll keep an eye on the situation here. We'll try to get on next Tuesday as well, because that may give us a little more insight as far as what's coming for either Storm 2 or 3 or 4 or whatever it may bring, going into Valentine's Day and President's Day holiday weekend. So it could be very active. So certainly stay, what do you guys say? Weather aware.
Yes, right.
That's it. Very nice.
That's it.
All right, guys, we will see you next time.